this is going to come before? How do you see this playing out? Do you have any idea?
We still have phases. We haven't seen the major arrest phases. I think one of the phases is what happened with the military. You know, the military did it was called a military accountability letter, and I don't know if you guys have talked about that.
No.
You haven't talked about it? It came out at 4 a.m. on purpose.
Boom, here it
Because
is.
4 means obliterating their structure, and it came out at 4 a.m. on purpose. And this letter came out, and as you see, right, so we start seeing the capital letters, and would be the fourth paragraph. The generals, the admirals, the rear admirals, all these people who were forcing things against our Constitution, and they've got them named, and those are the people they're starting with. General Milley, everybody knows him.
Oh,
Yep.
I'm sorry.
You know what happened between him and Trump. It's okay.
Right.
So all of these big guys are who they're starting with, and they're going to be doing military court-martials. And
So this is happening when?
It's already happening. They were all served January 1. So this is all being taken place in the military. And the military, there were 230 military of all ranks that signed this. They kept it all secret so that it would never leak and nobody knew it was going to happen. And this went out to them and to us on Twitter at 4 a.m. on January 1st this year. And
so are you telling me they're behind the scenes, they're cleaning up the military right now, so that way when it does go military, that we're prepared?
Yeah, because you have to do they've studied this. They know exactly the layers to take care of. They know exactly how it has to take place. And you'll see some of these, Lieutenant General, Rear Admiral. I mean, you see these names, and they're starting there because they're the ones that you have to follow the Constitution because they have to follow the same oath of the people that they did all this to. You can't force back them. You can't operate against the Constitution and remove them from service and not allow them to have a pension, et cetera, et cetera. So they came together. There's 230 who put this together and signed it, and this was issued. And it was so powerful that night on Twitter, I followed the Twitter Spaces, and a lot of us put good comments in supporting them, and we're signing this. I think it's just at militaryaccountabilityletter.com, but you can look it up online. And they're asking people to support this.
This is absolutely incredible.
And these, the military tribunals, we wouldn't be aware of. The media wouldn't be covering them.
I thought they will. But we will when they will go public at some point.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant the court-martials. The military court-martials are not. We're not involved in the court-martial process. But according to the military, they have to take them through court-martial first. So right now, what's happening is not tribunals. I'm sorry, I used the wrong word. This is all happening in court-martials throughout the military in all services. And the injured parties is a part of this too. And that Twitter Spaces on January 1, you can look it up on Twitter Spaces. It happened on January 1. The key people who signed this, who were behind this, put that on. And they said, we'll stay on here for 90 minutes if you guys have questions and blah, blah, blah. I stayed on for more than 3 hours. And General Flynn came on 3 or 4 times.
You were on the call.
I was on the call.
With General Flynn, so you know exactly what's going on.
Yes. I've been working with the military intel guys. I'm not a military intel person, but because of my books, they've drawn me in, and I'm so honored. But it's not to reveal things before it's time. That's why people are so mad in the military. They said, you should have let us sign it. We wanted to be against these guys. And they still have that opportunity. They can be against the guys now. But because what's happening is it had to stay secret. It couldn't be leaked. Mm-hmm. Because now they don't have an option. They've been served. Mm-hmm. And once you're served,
So if this is happening behind the scenes, the Democrats have to have gotten wind of this. They got to know what's happening. They got to understand.
Well, these are their guys. General Milley is right at the front, and everybody knows. Yeah.
But I thought we were getting.
They don't have an option. They don't have an option. Court-martial. It's just like if you and I served in the military, and we got a notice this morning we're up for court-martial. We don't have an option. Mm-mm. That's a military process, and you're called in to the court-martial hearing, and you don't have an option to reject it or not comply.
But if you listen to Biden's State of the Union, he's saying we need boots on the ground in Gaza. We need more money for Ukraine, whatever he was saying. And we're getting these NATO exercises where we're going to deploy troops. What's up with that? Is that not going to happen?
Well, let's start with his first statement. It wasn't his first, and I didn't listen to the whole thing, but wasn't the first statement, I think I want to go home now? Wasn't it like in the first line or something?
Did he say that really? I didn't catch that.
Yeah, he didn't want to, he said, I want to be here. I think I want to go home. He said something like that. Like the,
wow,
like,
I didn't catch that. I don't know. My
People
audience
were like, what are we watching here? Do you know what I mean? Now, here's the other thing. It has to happen by the end of February. If you go back to 2021, he never did one in 2021 when he was supposed to be newly in the position. And so Trump did it at CPAC on February 28th. So this is what happened. So Trump goes ahead and does this whole long speech, and people are like watching it, and they're texting me. They go, "Why is this happening?" I said, "He's in this whole long speech because that's the State of the Union." Well, why is that? Because in the Constitution, you have to do it by the end of February, and it was the 28th of February. And if you go back to that speech that he gave, and I'm quoting pretty much verbatim. I can say I'm paraphrasing, but pretty much verbatim. And I think it's like in the last 5 to 7 minutes. But if you want to listen to the last 10, it gets real powerful right in those moments in time. And what he said was, do you remember? And he was like doing a motion. Remember he went on camera as though he was getting the vax? But it was a studio one that the cap, we could see the cap was still on the needle.
Yes.
So, and he got it. It was in his left arm, but you know he always complained about pain in his right arm.
Interesting. Wow. Okay?
And then he goes, but let me think, because I want it to be the exact. Let me think. And he hesitates for a moment, and the president doesn't have to hesitate. And he said, yes. He said it was on December 21, and when he got the shot, he never complained about pain again. And so I was excited and telling people on interviews, my goodness, he got the firing squad, And people go, well, I thought the firing squad was after that. And so God said, look it up. December 7 of 20, President Trump added firing squad to the hanging and all the other options. He added firing squad, and on December 21.
Okay, but let me ask you this, Sheila. Was there did he already impose that? Has there been a firing squad? Have people been taken out by firing squad already or not yet? Or is that coming? Because I remember there was video happening at the White House where they were showing.
The only thing that was mentioned about Biden is that Biden was asked to concede because he knew it wasn't right what he did. And he said, I will only capitulate and I will only do it if Hunter has to come in with me. And so I looked up capitulate. It just means surrender. I'll surrender, but my son has to come in with me. What a great dad, right? I mean, look at everything you do for your family. And here's a dad who's messed up absolutely everything for the family and totally messed up Hunter's life. And now he's saying, but Hunter has to come in with me. Why do you suppose President Trump kept saying, so where's Hunter? Has anyone seen Hunter? Because there's a difference in seeing videos and you think it's him.
She's good.
And just this last week, they had a congressional hearing with Hunter, but they had it behind closed doors. You don't have congressional hearings behind closed doors. Was it behind closed doors? Because it's not really Hunter.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but I mean, they took care of No Name. They took care of George H.W. 41. They took care of them because of timing and because of what was happening. But nothing is done without being videoed.
Let's just talk about that for a quick second.
He's always interrupting.
Yeah. His funeral, Trump was there. They all opened up the pamphlet and an envelope fell out. I think we both heard what was on that envelope. I've talked to Juan about that. And have you talked to Juan about that?
I've never talked to Juan about that, but looking at George W.'s face, because he wasn't shocked at all. His wife was shocked, and his brother was shocked. Now, whether they had a picture of what they did to him, or whether they said, I told him everything, George W. would flip. And so they do have everything.
Correct. There's some, Juan told me, but you know what? I'd rather check with him if I can say that out loud in public. But one thing we did see was a wrinkled flag on the coffin. Correct. I mean, it was not done correctly. Did you see that as well? Did you notice that?
It was on both. It was on No Name and it was on George H.W. And that's why President Trump had him bring the plane down.
His No Name.
And had the whole family and him in the coffin, supposedly, and had it come. He wanted to be sure he was in the coffin. You know what I mean? He wanted to be sure what had happened. But it's not only the wrinkled flag; it's also reverse. So the top of the flag